Hello, everyone, and hopefully, y'all are having a great start to your summer. School is out, college sports are winding down, but you know what keeps going? Well, except I have had a little bit of a break. It is the Collin Neill Show here on Houston Sports Live. Hello, everyone, and once again, this is Collin Neill, and this is the new episode that is going to go exclusively on the Houston Sports Live platform. If you have not done it already, be sure you subscribe today to Houston Sports Live. Check out the website houstonsports.live and follow all of the social media platforms that Houston Sports Live is on. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Jordan Smith for putting my show on a platform that has a lot of potential, folks. So you want to go ahead and hop on the bandwagon before it is already too late to hop on when it's all crowded, or however the saying goes. But had to take a little bit of a break. This is the third episode overall. You can check out the previous episodes on Houston Sports Live. They're on the YouTube page. Check them out, and of course, be sure you subscribe. Okay, lots to talk about, but this is going to be a short episode because I want to try to get talk about as much as I can. Really about three things really today. CJ Stroud throwing in mandatory minicamp, Nick Chubb, a Houston Texan, and the Astros losing the series opener against the Chicago White Sox just about a little bit under an hour ago. I'm talking right now at 10:38 p.m. Central Time. So just something to break down about that loss, but not really a big deal, but we'll break it down later. Let's go ahead and get the juicy stuff out of the way first. CJ Stroud throwing at mandatory minicamp. A lot of speculation. Is he going to be ready for the 2025 season? Has he had shoulder surgery? Is the general soreness really general soreness? Is it this? Is it that? It's a lot of speculation, but he's back. It even was known that he was going to be available to the media before the start of the first day of minicamp, and he was indeed available to the media. And guess what? He threw. Like I said, we're going to play some audio clips, some video clips, I should rather say, of CJ Stroud at his press conference after day one. First off, though, here he is on how it feels to be back.
Yeah, I felt great, man. I'm very grateful to be back out on the field. I'm a little rusty, made some throws, missed some throws, but just very grateful to be out there with the guys and have a time to, compete before we go a couple days away until camp. So I'm very excited to be back, but, just iron sharpen iron, trying to.
Sorry, folks, kind of cut that off a little bit too quickly, but just basically, you've heard it right there. He's excited to be back. I'm excited that he's back, and he, as it went on, he went into depth a little bit about his injury. Here he is. Here he is talking. First mentioning the shoulder injury at the beginning of the press conference. I believe he was asked about it. Kind of a bit of a snikey remark, if you want me to be completely honest, but I like it. He was just saying, guys, it wasn't that big of a deal. But we're going to play two of these audio clips or of these videos because they're very important here. First one is basically saying that he was actually already throwing.
I was already throwing, before you guys see me out there pretty normally. I think y'all don't have much to talk about, so everything is blown up in all season. So I'm fine, man. I'm really okay.
You heard it. He was fine. He was fine. And then later on, he went on to say that he did not have surgery.
Yeah, it teaches you not to panic. It's part of the game. Just like how pitchers, they take relief weeks and nights off. The same thing for all throwing athletes. You just got to be precautionary, and those things are bound to happen. It's not about if, it's about when, and you're just doing the right things to come back. So I never thought too much of it. It's not that big of a deal, and I did not get surgery or anything like that. I was fine. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm not. It's not as bad as people are making it seem.
Says that he was fine and not as bad as people make it seem. And I personally thought it wasn't that big of a deal. It was general soreness. And the thing is, if he had surgery, we would have already known. He did injure that shoulder against the Kansas City Chiefs. It looked like he was not, and he was pretty banged up overall because that offensive line was not good last year. He I think this offseason was also pretty, in a way, in a good way, brutal because he talked about a little bit over in the press conference that he was basically PRing on everything, that he was working out a lot, getting rid of body fat, more fluidity, mobility in his hips and legs. I really like where things are progressing with CJ Stroud. And guess what? It's not like this offseason was not like after his first season, his rookie season, where he was going on this podcast tour with Micah Parsons. He was talking a lot on social media, not in like a bad way. It's just like, from a perspective, it's like, you probably don't want to see that out of a young quarterback. You probably want him to keep working. I mean, I of course never. I'm not. You do what you want with your free time. You're a professional. I trust you. Albeit you just got off your rookie season. Trust you. And I mean, he didn't necessarily have a bad season. I don't blame him a lot for this bad season. I just blame a bad scheme. I just blame a bad offensive line and some other small things that just kind of just boil under one big picture. And with the addition of Nick Caley as the offensive coordinator, I think things are going to go much differently. Now, I'm not going to go into much depth right now until we know a little bit more about Nick Caley and how he runs things. But scheme-wise, coming from that McVay tree, I'm pretty excited to see what he can bring. Here is CJ Stroud, though, on what excites him about Nick Caley.
Him as a person. I think for me, like I buy into people. I really don't buy into like system. I kind of have that thing about like life. Is like, it's the people and the relationships that kind of take things and make it rocket ship to the stars. So just him as a person, man, like he has probably the most juice I've ever seen in my life, just naturally. I'm a very laid back, chill guy, except for like when I'm in between the lines, but like he's 6 a.m, he's up, he's at it. So like that kind of like gets me motivated. And just, how he buys into his players and, he calls me a lot. I don't always answer because he always yelling and stuff, but, I appreciate it though. And it's, it's been great. He's implementing a lot of things he's done in the past, which is important as well. The system is important and he's doing a great job, as you guys have seen, we've been able to, have a pretty good OTA off-season program from what you guys can see and even things that y'all can't see, building that foundation so we can rocket ship once we snap that ball, against LA. So, I love Nick and he's doing a great job.
CJ Stroud loving what Nick Caley is bringing to the table. If I can just fix this one quick thing. There we go. Perfect. Cool. Now it doesn't sound like there's two of me. Lord knows that a lot of people can't handle two of me. But and then later on, he discussed more about the control of the offense, which is very important. Is the most important thing about this whole thing when it comes to Nick Caley coming in as the new offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans is the fact that he's going to give CJ Stroud a proven, in my opinion, football mind, more control. You've seen those videos of CJ Stroud breaking down film, how he processes the game, what he sees, what he does on the field as well. And I think that's what's going to be very important for not just CJ Stroud from a developmental standpoint, and when he gets that big contract and then he's becoming a bit more and more of a veteran, because he's gonna learn new things no matter what year it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure Tom Brady was also learning new things, even as he became, established as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And with Nick Caley, Stroud getting more control, he had these thoughts about getting control.
Yeah, that'd be between me and Kels, and that was something that I did want, and I'm gotten that now. So, but that takes ownership. We've been able to watch a lot of Brady, and there was clips back in like 2003 or 4 when him and Josh McDaniels, first started, and so like it took him time to master it. So it'll take time for me to master it fully, but I am buying into it and trying my best to be as great as I can at it. So, but it's something that I wanted and I'm getting.
He's buying into it. He's gonna have a lot to learn, that's for sure, especially under a new OC. But I'm pretty confident that he can build off on it. Overall, just happy to see that CJ Stroud is back throwing, that we can now lay those concerns and worries to rest. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we are going to discuss the newest Houston Texan and how he is going to have a very interesting but a good impact. We discuss Nick Chubb next here on the Collin Neill Show on Houston Sports Talk.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey guys, be sure you are subscribed to Houston Sports Live today. Be sure you follow us on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter. I still catch myself calling it Twitter at first, but I need to start being able to say X, now formerly known as Twitter, Facebook as well, Instagram. Check us out there. Follow us. We got a lot of great things planned heading into the fall when high school sports are ramping up, and then you got Texans and college football. Jordan Smith, I know that he's got some great things going. We had a couple of high school broadcasts a month ago or so, something around a little over a month ago, I should say. Really great, really fun, awesome. We're gonna have high school broadcasts coming your way. And hopefully we can send things out officially. I know, like I said, Jordan Smith is working really hard on things, and we'll see where it goes. All right, continuing on for the Collin Neill Show. Nick Chubb, the newest Houston Texan, 1 year, $2.5 million deal, could be worth up to $5 million with incentives. He is going to be paired in that backfield with Joe Mixon, Dare Ogunbowale, and Dameon Pierce. We'll kind of talk a little bit about Dare and Dameon, how this could impact him as well. But when I saw this deal at first, though, guys, I was surprised about how cheap it was. I thought it was going to be way more than that. I thought it was going to be worth up to $10 million in incentives, especially with how Nick Chubb was in his career. And bar none, these last 2 years have been very, very shaky, mainly because of the injuries, especially that devastating knee injury he had in 2023. And then he had the injury, I believe it was a broken foot, in 2024. Only played 8 games last year, 102 carries, 3 touchdowns, 3.3 yards per carry. But if you look at the years before, like this is his average yards per carry: 5.25, 5.6, 5.55, 6.1. Now, granted, that was only 2 games because again, that's that 2023 season, but he had 3.3 yards per carry last year. But this is a good power back who is one of the most athletic players in recent NFL history. I mean, you just watch his workout videos. It is insane what he brings to the table. And we're going to go back to CJ Stroud on this one because he talks about Nick Chubb when he was asked about him in his press conference.
Just, he's a great player. I met him today for the first time, and I told him, man, I've been respecting his game since he was in college, and, I think he's a great back, and I think he'll do some great things for us, and I'm excited to have him as a teammate. So, I actually didn't recognize him when I walked in. He's very quiet, so it was I was like, dang, what's up, Nick? I kind of got nervous because he been a baller since I've been a kid, so but I'm very excited to have him.
Very, very funny that CJ didn't recognize Nick Chubb because again, he's a very prominent running back. This is a guy that's been to quite a bit of Pro Bowls. Let's see, he's been to 3 Pro Bowls. He was named second team All-Pro in 2022. I mean, that 4-year run he had with Cleveland from 19 to 22 was insane. It was an amazing run, and just unfortunately 23 and 24 happened with his injuries. But from what, if you ever heard people talk about Chubb, he's a very quiet guy. He's a very quiet guy. I know my good old colleague up at Sports Radio 610, Figgy. I was listening. He was talking about him being, a quiet guy, and then but CJ Stroud kind of backs it up there in a way. So this just sounds like a guy that just puts his head down. I mean, this is the most cliche thing ever, but just goes out there, works hard, plays the game, plays football, knows his job, and he's going to do it. And I think this is going to be kind of a prove-it deal for him. Here is D'Amico Ryans on Nick Chubb.
Yeah, we're excited to add Nick Chubb to our team. Everything I've heard about Nick and just following his career, just a tremendous worker, humble kid, doesn't say much, but he's a grinder, a worker. And the one thing that sticks out about him, like, he's been through a lot, right, with the injuries and things that's happened to him. So just to see the resilience, to see him battle back, work in the right way, to put himself in position to have another opportunity here in Houston, couldn't be more excited to add him to our team and see what value he can provide to us.
And then D'Amico Ryans talked more Nick Chubb later on, basically on what the most important thing is for Nick Chubb now that he is in the building officially as a Houston Texan.
The most important thing right now is for Nick to just get acclimated to how we do things. We all know the caliber of player that Nick can be when he's healthy and when he's at the top of his game. He's a dynamic player. He's a game changer. So we're just easing him in. We'll see how far he gets. Come back training camp, ready to go.
Yeah, pretty simple. Just, hey, it's just important for him to catch up to speed. And just to kind of quickly wrap up this talk about Nick Chubb, like I said, I love this signing quite a lot. You're pairing him with Joe Mixon in the backfield. It's just that now it's like, what happens with Dameon Pierce and Dare Ogunbowale? Because rookie out of USC, Woody Marks, isn't going anywhere. Otherwise, they wouldn't have drafted him. I mean, I feel like that they were looking for running back depth. I think it was reported, I don't know by who, that they were looking for running back depth already to add one more piece and probably add more competition in that room, especially someone for right behind Joe Mixon. I mean, Dameon Pierce has just been a very weird career for him so far, and he wasn't used a whole lot last year, and his best game was that Titans game later on in the season, basically at the end. And you're just kind of, okay, where does he fall? And then Dare Ogunbowale, everyone knows him, prominent backup kicker, but overall great special teams guy. He can be out there. He can do a lot of things right, especially under Frank Ross, the special teams coordinator. So who's the odd person out? Because again, Woody's not going anywhere. So who's the odd person out? Dameon or Dare? I don't know, but I feel like if the Texans want to try to get something out of it, if it does come down to telling one guy, hey, you're gonna be RB3. I mean, I think Chubb has already come into camp as RB2. I think RB1 is Joe Mixon, obviously. RB2 is Nick Chubb, and then the battle for that third spot, it's between Woody, Dare, and Dameon. And I don't really care if Woody Marks wins that battle or not. He's a rookie. He's going to be learning a lot, though. We'll get to that in a second. But if I were Nick Caserio, if I were him, I would explore for now. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that he should trade him, but I would just tell teams like, hey, shopping Dameon Pierce, what would you give me? And see what you can get. And if you can get something very good and fair value, you go ahead. If you rather keep Dare for his versatile, for him being a versatile player that can run the football and also play on special teams. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they carry everybody. Maybe they find a way to get Dameon Pierce some more roles on special teams, and maybe Dameon Pierce does perform really well in minicamp and in when it comes training camp, that he says like, no, I'm RB3. I have this spot. So we'll see what happens with that. But one more thing with Woody Marks, this is awesome for him because he is now being able to learn under two well-established veteran running backs in Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon. That is going to be such a good thing for his development. Two power guys that you can learn from who've done it all really basically. They survived in this league for this long. And I mean, if I'm Woody Marks, I am absorbing as much knowledge as I can from those two guys because the experience is invaluable there, and the words of advice they could give a young running back is from those two. It's going to be really awesome for Woody Marks's development as if he does have the trend of establishing himself as a future RB2 or RB1 for this Texans team. We'll see, though. Lots of excitement, though, heading into the summer days where, leading up the training camp. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Kind of a quick hits kind of thing. Astros lose to the White Sox, and Ime Udoka rumored to, how do I say this? Being asked to get interviewed. Well, Shams Charania just dropped some news about a few minutes ago but right as I was about to get on, and that's crazy. We're going to just mention it very quickly next here on the Collin Neill Show on Houston Sports Live.
Seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome back to the Collin Neill Show. We're wrapping things up here on Houston Sports Live. Real quick, Shams Charania, as of 10:09 p.m. Central Time, he tweeted this out earlier. Quote, the New York Knicks requested permission to speak to Minnesota Timberwolves coach Chris Finch and, ready for this, Houston Rockets coach Ime Udoka for their head coaching job, but were denied on both. Sources tell ESPN Knicks could request permission for other current head coaches too. So there was some buzz that the New York Knicks were gonna try to see if they can go after Ime Udoka, but even if the Rockets if the Rockets granted permission, I don't think Udoka's going anywhere. I don't think he is. I mean, come on. If I'm the New York Knicks, why? I mean, good on them for trying, but I don't think Ime Udoka's going anywhere, especially since he's building a team right now that has such high potential, and you could be going to a team in the New York Knicks that fired Thibodeau, even though he's probably been their most successful head coach in quite some time. It's just that I don't know. It's very weird what the New York Knicks are trying to do right now, but I just wanted to drop that real quick. As we wrap things up here on the Collin Neill Show. The Houston Astros lose the series opener to the Chicago White Sox 4-2. Paredes and Yonder Diaz got RBIs, but they were both sac flies. Christian Walker dropped down to the fifth hole. He went 1 for 3 with a couple of hard hit balls and a walk and a strikeout. Every single batter got a hit except for Paredes. He did walk, though, and hit that sac fly RBI, and Yonder Diaz hit that sac fly RBI, though. The Astros out hitting the Chicago White Sox 9-4. Just unfortunate for Lance McCullers, getting his second loss of the season. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, which were really deadly, 6 Ks, and giving up a solo shot to Luis Robert, getting his McCullers Jr.'s ERA up to 4.91. Sousa, Dubin, Ort all through a combined 4 scoreless innings to keep the Astros within striking distance, but the Astros just could not get more runners across the plate. The Astros, as a matter of fact, I can find it here. There it is. 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, left 7 on base, but they also had to deal with a Michael Kopech 2.0. I mean, my gosh, this guy by the name of Shane Smith, a righty, 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run that was earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. His season ERA goes to 2.37. He was a guy that was throwing upper 90s with a good sweeper. He looked really good for the Chicago White Sox, and it's just unfortunate that the Astros have now lost back-to-back games, but they look to get back on the right track tomorrow, and they will take on the White Sox again Thursday. But the most important thing is to just win Wednesday night to force a rubber match on Thursday. I think they can take this series. I wasn't expecting them to sweep, especially coming off an off day, kind of a little rusty. Still no word on Yordan Alvarez. He could be picking up a bat here soon. And Joe Espada had an update on Spencer Arrighetti. He could be picking up a baseball pretty soon and throwing on the Astros' next road trip. Well, that'll do it for me here on the Collin Neill Show on Houston Sports Live. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate y'all. Be sure to subscribe today. Follow us on all of our social media platforms and check out HoustonSports.live, our website. Thank you very much once again. And as always, guys, take it easy. And summer is in full swing. Let's have a great one and stay cool out there and put on some sunscreen, coming from someone that has a lot of trouble doing that himself. Take it easy, guys. See y'all next time.